Hello, I'm Alina, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates and works to provide information about the candidates and issues before the voters. We are interviewing candidates that will appear on your general election ballot, which you should receive in the mail around mid-October. We'll be asking them 5 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Let's get to know Ben Anderson. Ben, you'll have 90 seconds to introduce yourself. Tell us why you chose to run for the office of Bremerton School Board.
Well, thank you again for this opportunity to interview today, and thank you to all the voters enabling me to continue on with this general election in November. Again, my name is Ben Anderson. I'm a proud graduate of Bremerton High School, and I now have 3 kids actively in the district in 11th, 9th, and 6th grade. I'm a retired U.S. Coast Guard officer, and now my wife and I run a family-owned business here in downtown Bremerton. So really, my excitement for this position continues to grow as I actively serve in the school board capacity. I get to see the progress we're already making since I joined in February. Our new superintendent, Dr. McSheehy, who we hired in May, is off and running, and we really couldn't be happier with the performance we've seen in the first 100 days. Just this month, we've had 2 groundbreaking ceremonies for the new Armand Jar and the original elementary schools. Our students' morale seems to be high. Our athletic programs are off and running, and we're only really in week 3. So I'm personally glad to see the district is also pushing hard on our strategic plan. I'm really encouraged with all the community members to get to know this strategic plan. It really is going to be a driver here. So thank you again for having me, and I'm excited for the interview.
All right, great. Well, let's jump right into our first question. What are the educational strengths of the Bremerton School District, and what are the educational gaps or weaknesses, and what ideas do you have for improving performance?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really think our key strength of the district is the amazing staff within the buildings. And this really does include everyone from those who pick up the kids on the bus, who welcome the kids in the front office, the amazing teachers in the classrooms, and of course, all the supporting staff within all the buildings. I visited multiple schools this year, and the energy really seems to be contagious. And the feedback from my own kids has all been positive. And this is great, but now it's really the job of the district to ensure that we can support the staff and keep enabling them with the tools in order to execute our strategic plan. I think a key weakness to identify, and thus an opportunity, is that there's sometimes a lack of goal settings, alignment and goal settings within the different school buildings. All of our schools are pushing hard to make progress and with their goals. But I think there could be a little more progress made if we channel this into a cohesive force and really align our resources together. And this idea suggests that our school buildings and grade levels within the district work towards that better sharing of specific academic goals. And this will really bring a level of consistency, I think, and alignment within the district to improve efficiencies and get our kids lined up with state standards.
Great, thank you so much. On to question 2, which is about the budget. District's annual budget shows the board's commitment towards fulfilling the goals of the instructional program and providing the efficient and effective operation of the district. Regarding the district's budget process, what strategies do you suggest to address any deficits faced in the future, especially related to declines in student enrollment or loss of federal funding?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that budget is a challenge for one of the key challenges for Bremerton. And one of the main jobs of the school board member is to approve the district's budget. These budgets are very complex with many different funding streams and, of course, even more expenses. And today we're faced with many of the challenges, including a constrained budget, which forces really every district across the state to make tough decisions with how we allocate funds. And I think in the past, some of these decisions have been made in kind of a black box with random people that we don't know who's making these decisions. And I really think that these tough decisions should be made in the open and have input from affected parties, including community members, parents, building staff, and others. And with that, we've asked our current superintendent to set up a community advisory board, which was filled with a variety of members to help us with these future budget-related decisions. And one of the main benefits, I think, of this community advisory board is that these challenging decisions can be made, or maybe even controversial topics are put on the table early on, so that discussions can be had, the pros, the cons, can be outlined, and we can minimize surprises that often cause frustration for parents, students, and community.
Great, thank you for that. Question 3, against what metrics will you assess district leadership's attainment of key goals, and how will you know when a program or decision has been successful?
Yeah, great question. And as I mentioned early on, I believe maybe the easy answer to this is that we should use our strategic plan that we came up with. The great thing about the strategic plan is that the 4 goals can be further broken down into additional SMART goals, which are measurable, so we can track progress and make adjustments should the progress not really be what we're looking for or just not enough. And I think one of the key things I've learned over the last 6 months in this position is that when changes are made within the school district, you may not see immediate results the next day or week or even month, which is
Yeah.
a test of patience sometimes. But big changes take time. And that said, I do think we can use SMART goals to track these specific metrics that'll give us early indications that we're either going in the right direction, or maybe we can make an adjustment and a course change again. One thing that I'm specifically pushing for our superintendent to do is to have more regular check-ins on these metrics from the schools and not just wait for the annual review of the strategic plan, which it can sometimes be a fallback pattern.
Mm-hmm. Great. So we'll move on to question 4. Since you've been in this role, this is you know the answer here. So this is for the information of the voters, I suppose. Question 4, the role of the public school district board of directors is to govern by setting policies and making decisions that shape the education of students. What are some of the key responsibilities of a school director that support successful governance of a public school system?
Yeah, great question. And I think one of the key things that really we're tasked with as board members is really we're in charge of one employee, and that's the superintendent. I believe that the current board has hired a great superintendent, Dr. McSheehy, and now really our job is to ensure that he's performing at the level that we need him to. Key ways to kind of monitor this performance through regular evaluation process, tracking of our strategic plan, which we just talked about, the metrics, and make sure we're making progress, student achievements, and really getting feedback from the community, which is something I think that the board can be better at, and we need to focus on as well. Another primary role for the school board directors, in my opinion, is the oversight and the set of the budget and its execution. We're presented with a budget updates and sometimes asked to approve spending. I take this pretty seriously, reading all the details of these requests and do my best to make sure that they're aligned with the allotted budget. We need to be very mindful of our taxpayers' dollars and ensure they're going towards what's best for the kids.
Right, great. So one final question. What strategies would you employ to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and students feel safe and respected?
Yeah, super important. I'll start by saying what I think that, one of Bremerton's strengths, not just our school district, but our city, is our diversity. And even with this strength, it's important that all of our kids feel safe, connected, and engaged. It's so important when the district and community came together to make our strategic plan, that was goal number 2 of this plan, was specific to this question. This plan is critical for our district's success. The board has asked for regular updates and to share these with the community. And key ways we can see successes are through our children's attendance. If kids don't feel safe, they won't show up to school. So that's a key metric that we need to be mindful of. And also the engagement in extracurricular activities, which is critical for our district. And I know all the buildings make this goal a priority because if the kids really didn't feel safe, they won't engage, and then we have bigger problems. So.
All right, thank you so much. So we'll say thank you to Ben Anderson for running for office and for sharing your views with us today. I'm Alina. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap, thank you for watching, and please share this video. If you want to help the League do this work, consider joining at lwv.org. And don't forget to return your ballot no later than 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th. Hello, I'm Alina, a member of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose candidates, but works to provide information about the candidates and issues before the voters. We are interviewing candidates that will appear on your general election ballot, which you should receive in the mail around mid-October. We'll be asking 5 questions. The candidates will have 90 seconds to answer each question. Let's get to know Linda Osborn Simpson, who is running for the office of Bremerton School Board Director. Linda, you'll have 90 seconds to make an opening statement.
Hi. Understanding why students disengage or graduate unprepared is critical to reshaping the system into one that genuinely supports every student's definition of success. Too often, we focus on graduation as the end goal without asking whether students leave school equipped to build the life they envision for themselves. Many students leave because they don't see a clear connection between what they're learning and the real world. Others feel school only supports one path, usually a four-year college, when in reality, not every student thrives in that model. That's why the work of the Micro Works Foundation is so valuable. It challenges outdated stigmas around skilled labor and emphasizes that trade jobs are not second tier. They're often high paying, meaningful, and deeply aligned with individual passions and talents. Since their inception in 2008, they've granted $16 million in work ethic scholarships from their website. Today, the skills gap is wider than it's ever been. Student loan debt includes 45 million borrowers who collectively owe more than $1.7 trillion. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are more than 7.6 million jobs available across the country, the majority of which don't require a four-year degree. To move forward, we need to embed these values into our schools, presenting multiple pathways to success, exposing students early to careers in the trades, and celebrating all forms of hard, honest work. This isn't just about filling jobs, it's about dignity, purpose, and ensuring students leave school ready to thrive on their own terms. For more information, visit microworks.org.
Thank you, Linda. Now, on to our first question. What are the educational strengths of Bremerton School District, and what are the educational gaps and weaknesses? And what ideas do you have for improving performance?
Bremerton School District offers strong programs like West Sound Technical Skills Center, AVID, Running Start, the Highly Capable Program, and a special education program whose IEP approach could benefit all students. However, the most glaring gap is that too many students graduate without the skills needed to pursue their goals. While recent OSPI data shows some improvement, 59.5% on grade level in ELA, 31.4% in math, and 45.5% in science. These scores highlight how far we still need to go. Graduation should reflect true readiness, not just a completed checklist. To improve student outcomes, we must identify where learning loss begins and why. While elementary scores are relatively stronger, 62.7 ELA, 57.9% in math, 68.2% in science. Performance declines in middle school, but rebounds slightly in high school, except in math. This trend suggests early warning signs are being missed. We should expose elementary students to career paths beyond college, including field trips to the Skills Center, and begin reversing the false belief that four-year degrees are the only path to success. We must also be willing to make bold changes, such as allowing students to repeat grades if they're not at level, or even eliminating grade levels altogether in favor of grouping students by learning needs. Avoiding these hard conversations risks long-term damage to students' confidence and future prospects.
Thank you, Linda. We'll move on to question 2. A district's annual budget shows the board's commitment towards fulfilling the goals of the instructional program and providing for the efficient and effective operation of the district. Regarding the district's budget process, what strategies do you suggest to address any deficits faced in the future, especially related to declines in student enrollment or loss of federal funding?
To address future budget deficits, Bremerton School District must take immediate action to stabilize finances while protecting the classroom. This includes freezing non-essential hiring, reducing non-staff operational costs, and carefully managing staff attrition. Maximizing existing levy dollars and aggressively pursuing available grants, especially for CTE, mental health, and special education, will be essential. These short-term steps could close significant gaps without directly impacting student learning. Looking ahead, The district should invest in strategies that grow enrollment and increase long-term sustainability. This includes launching a targeted outreach campaign to bring back students, expanding programs like West Sound Tech and AVID, and auditing all programs to prioritize those with the highest return on investment. Operational efficiencies, such as shared staffing, optimizing facility use, and aligning staffing with enrollment, should also be explored. These moves would position Bremerton to respond flexibly to continued funding challenges. Finally, structural transformation is key. The district could pilot competency-based learning environments that group students by skill level and promote IEP-style personalized learning as a universal model. By rebranding schools around real-world readiness and career-connected learning, Bremerton can attract students and funding. Combined with proactive financial forecasting and strong advocacy for fair state funding formulas, these strategies can protect Bremerton from future volatility while advancing its educational mission.
Thank you. All right, moving on to question 3, which is about metrics. Against which metrics will you assess district leadership's attainment of key goals, and how will you know when a program or decision has been successful?
To evaluate Bremerton School District leadership success, we must look at measurable progress in student achievement, enrollment, and program effectiveness. Key academic metrics include improvements in standardized test scores, grade level readiness, and graduation rates. Success should also reflect increased participation in programs like AVID, West Sound Tech, Running Start, and the Highly Capable program, along with stronger support for students with IEPs. Financial leadership will be measured by the ability to maintain balanced budgets, responsibly manage reserves, and secure outside funding through grants and levies. Improved enrollment and retention, particularly from students returning from homeschooling or private schools, will indicate restored trust and relevance of district programs. Efficient use of resources, staffing aligned to enrollment, and cost-saving innovations will further demonstrate fiscal responsibility. Finally, strong leadership will be evident in community confidence and transparent decision-making. This includes clear communication, regular progress updates tied to goals, and increased engagement from families, staff, and local partners. A successful program or decision will show measurable impact, receive positive feedback from stakeholders, and demonstrate long-term sustainability beyond its initial implementation.
Thank you so much. So moving on, question number 4. The role of a public school district board of directors is to govern by setting policies and making decisions that shape the education of students. What are some of the key responsibilities of a school director that support successful governance of a public school system?
School directors are responsible for setting the vision and policy direction of the school district. They help define long-term goals and ensure that policies align with educational standards, legal requirements, and the needs of students and families. This includes decisions related to curriculum, student achievement, school safety, and quality of opportunity, not a guarantee of outcome. Another key responsibility is fiscal oversight. School directors review and approve the annual budget, ensure public funds are used efficiently and transparently. They must monitor spending, support long-term financial planning, and make sure resources are aligned with student learning priorities. Oversight also includes hiring and evaluating the superintendent who manages the district's daily operations. Finally, school directors serve as a vital link between the district and the community. They listen to concerns, represent a diverse range of voices, and promote open communication between families, staff, and leadership. Successful governance depends on building public trust, fostering student independence and self-reliance, and nurturing a deep appreciation and respect for the rich heritage of our blended community, all while making decisions that put students first.
Great, thank you so much. So we just have one final question. We've covered a lot of ground. The final question is, what strategies would you employ to foster a positive and inclusive school climate where diversity is celebrated and students feel safe and respected?
To foster a positive school climate where students feel safe and respected, a clear and consistent foundation of mutual respect is essential. A strong starting point is teaching and modeling the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. This simple principle reinforces accountability, kindness, and personal responsibility in daily interactions among students, staff, and school leadership. Establishing school-wide expectations around behavior, supported by clear, concise rules that reflect our shared societal norms and consistent consequences, helps create a respectful environment. By emphasizing the common values we share as a community, we can reinforce the ideals and principles that unite us. Staff should be equipped with training focused on building strong, respectful relationships with students and effectively de-escalating conflict. When expectations are clearly communicated and fairly applied, students are more likely to mirror that fairness and respect in their own actions. School safety must extend beyond routine emergency drills. It should include firm anti-bullying policies, consistent enforcement, and open lines of communication with families. A physically safe environment supported by clean, well-maintained facilities and a visible adult presence reinforces emotional security and school pride. These elements help create a setting where students feel safe to focus, engage, and grow. When the golden rule is at the heart of school culture, treating others as we wish to be treated, students are more likely to act with integrity, show respect, and carry
Thank you,
themselves
Linda.
with dignity.
That's all of our time. I know it's a huge topic for 90 seconds. So thank you to Linda Osborn Simpson for running for office and for sharing your views with us today. I am Alina on behalf of the League of Women Voters of Kitsap. Thanks for watching. Please share this video. If you want to help with the work that we're doing, consider joining the League of Women Voters at lwv.org. And don't forget to return your ballot no later than 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 4th.